15 days after their dream wedding, Delroy uncovers a shattering secret about his wife, Amoy. But when a firecracker explodes outside, will his rage pull the trigger on their love? Hey, don't forget to like. Please subscribe for more shocking crime stories and hit the bell icon. The darkest truth are yet to come. Delroy Thompson woke at 5:30 a.m., the Miami sunrise bleeding orange through the blinds of his Coconut Grove bungalow. The air smelled of salt and hibiscus, but it was the faint whiff of Amoy's coconut lotion that stirred him. He reached for her side of the bed, empty. His fingers brushed the cool sheets and a pang of unease flickered. 15 days married, and she was already up before him. Downstairs, the clink of a kettle and the soft hum of a reggae tune drifted up. Delroy smiled, shaking off the odd feeling. Amoy was perfect. Graceful, sharp, the kind of woman who turned heads at their wedding with her silk gown and quiet confidence. But why was she up so early? He padded downstairs, the hardwood creaking under his weight. Their home, a modest 2-story, with a wraparound porch, was a slice of Jamaica in Miami. Bright walls, mango trees out back, and Amoy's touch in every corner. She stood at the stove, her slim frame wrapped in a yellow robe, her dreadlocks pinned in a loose bun. "Morning, love," she said without turning, her voice warm but clipped. Delroy leaned in to kiss her cheek, catching a faint tremor in her hand as she stirred oatmeal. "You good, Amoy?" he asked, squinting. She nodded too quickly. "Just prepping breakfast. You got that big meeting today, right?" Was she dodging him? Delroy, a sergeant at the Miami-Dade Police Department, was used to reading people. 20 years on the force had honed his instincts, but with Amoy he felt blind. They'd met 6 months ago at a community fundraiser in Little Jamaica, her organizing a dance hall charity event, him volunteering security. Her poise, her laugh, it hit him like a wave. 2 months of courtship, 3 of engagement, and 15 days ago, they'd vowed forever under a Miami moon. Yet they hadn't been intimate, not once. Amoy cited stress, wanting to savor the moment, and Delroy, smitten, hadn't pushed. But now, her nervous glance at her phone made his gut twist. What was she hiding? Breakfast was quiet. Amoy served oatmeal with mango slices, her movements precise, almost mechanical. Delroy watched her over his coffee. "You seem off, babe. Something up?" Her eyes flicked to him, then away. "Just tired. Got a design client calling later." She was an interior designer, part-time, her work filling their home with curated art and woven rugs. But her answer felt hollow. As he left for work, he caught her whispering into her phone, hanging up when she saw him. The door clicked shut behind him and Delroy's chest tightened. Who was on that call? At the station, the hum of fluorescent lights and coffee machines grounded him. Barrington, Baz Miller, his deputy and friend since their Kingston school days, greeted him with a grin. "Newlywed life treatin' you good, Sarge?" Delroy forced a chuckle, but his mind was on Amoy's tense smile. "Yeah, man, just adjustin'." Baz raised an eyebrow but didn't press. The day dragged. Patrol schedules, a vandalism, report, a talk at a local school. Delroy's phone stayed silent. No texts from Amoy, not even a "love you." By noon he dialed her. Voicemail. His fingers drummed the desk. Why wasn't she answering? Back home by 5 p.m., Delroy found a note on the kitchen counter. Had to run to Fort Lauderdale for design supplies. Back by 7, dinner's in the fridge. Fort Lauderdale was an hour away. No call, no heads up. He stared at the note, her neat handwriting mocking him. His cop instincts kicked in. He checked her laptop, left open on the dining table. Her browser history showed searches. Family medical history, close relative compatibility, donor risks. Delroy's breath caught. Was she sick? Or was this about someone else? What family? Amoy had said she was an orphan, raised in a Montego Bay children's home, no kin except a brother Ronaldo she hadn't seen in years. He called her again. Voicemail. The house felt too still, the tick of the clock deafening. Delroy poured a shot of rum, his hands unsteady. They'd built a life in 15 days, shared dreams of kids, a trip to Negril, a future. But now, every memory felt like a lie. He scrolled through her phone's call log when she'd left it on the counter. Yesterday, an unknown number called 3 times in one night. His thumb hovered over redial. Should he confront her? The front door rattled open at 7:15. Amoy stepped in, her face pale, a shopping bag in hand. "Sorry I'm late," she said, avoiding his eyes. Traffic was bad. Delroy stood, the rum, glass cold in his palm. "Fort Lauderdale, huh? You didn't call?" Her lips parted, but no words came. She set the bag down, her fingers twitching. "I didn't want to bother you at work." Her voice was too soft, like she was measuring every syllable. Delroy's jaw tightened. "Amoy, what's going on? You're acting strange, and I saw. Your searches, donor risks, you sick?" Her eyes widened, a flash of panic. "It's nothing, Delroy, just research for a client's charity project." The lie hung heavy. He stepped closer. "Don't play me. Who's Ronaldo to you? You said you don't talk to him. Was she hiding a family secret?" Amoy's face crumpled, but she straightened, forcing a smile. "I'm just tired, okay? Let's eat." She moved to the fridge, but Delroy caught her arm gently. "Talk to me, Amoy, we're married." Her eyes met his, glistening with unshed tears. For a moment, he thought she'd crack, spill everything. Then her phone buzzed. She yanked it from her pocket, silencing it. "I need a shower," she muttered, pulling away. As she climbed the stairs, Delroy's gaze fell on the shopping bag. No supplies, just a crumpled receipt. Why was she lying? About the trip? That night, Delroy lay awake, Amoy's back to him in bed. Her breathing was uneven, not the steady rhythm of sleep. He stared at the ceiling, the weight of her silence crushing. 15 days ago, she'd been his world. Now, every glance, every word felt like a puzzle piece he couldn't place. At 2 a.m., he heard her slip out of bed, her whispers drifting from the hallway. "Ronaldo, it's set. Tomorrow." Delroy's blood ran cold. Who was Ronaldo and what was happening tomorrow? The next morning, Amoy was up before him again, her suitcase by the door. "I gotta go to Fort Lauderdale again," she said, barely meeting his eyes. "Client emergency." Delroy's voice was low. "You sure that's where you're going?" She froze, then nodded. "I'll be back tonight." As her car pulled away, Delroy grabbed his keys. He wasn't letting this slide. He called Baz. "Cover for me today, man. Something's off with Amoy." Baz's voice sharpened. "You good, Delroy? Need me to roll with you?" Delroy hesitated. "Not yet, just keep it quiet." Was he chasing a ghost, or was his marriage already dead? Delroy tailed Amoy's car from a distance, his black SUV blending into Miami's morning traffic. She didn't head to Fort Lauderdale. Instead, she veered toward Jackson Memorial Hospital. His heart pounded as he parked, watching her disappear into the main entrance. Inside, the antiseptic smell hit him like a wall. He approached the front desk, badge in hand. "I'm looking for Amoy Clark. She checked in today." The clerk typed, then frowned. "No Amoy Clark here. You sure it's this hospital?" Delroy's stomach dropped. Was she using another name? He scanned the lobby, catching a glimpse of Amoy's yellow scarf vanishing down a corridor. He followed, keeping his distance until she entered a room in the nephrology wing. Through the door's window, he saw her with a man. Ronaldo, he assumed. Same dreadlocks, same sharp jawline, but frail, hooked to an IV. Delroy's breath hitched. Was Amoy donating an organ? He knocked, his pulse racing. The man looked up, startled. "Who are you?" he rasped. Amoy spun, her face ashen. "Delroy, what are you doing here?" "I'm your husband," Delroy said, voice hard. "And I deserve the truth. Who's this, Amoy? Ronaldo?" The man nodded weakly. "I'm her brother. I didn't mean for you to find out like this." Delroy's eyes narrowed. "Find out what? That you're sick?" That she's given you a kidney? Amoy's hands shook. It's not that simple, Delroy. Her voice cracked. Please just go home, I'll explain tonight. What was so complicated it couldn't be said now? Delroy stepped back, his mind reeling. You got till tonight, Amoy. No more lies. As he left the hospital, a nurse's words echoed. Donor prep is in the other wing. If Amoy was a donor, why was she in Ronaldo's room? Back in his car, Delroy gripped the wheel, the Miami skyline blurring. 15 days of marriage and his wife was a stranger. His phone buzzed, a text from Amoy. I'm sorry, I love you, we'll talk tonight. But the words felt like a goodbye. What secret was worth this much pain? Delroy sat in his SUV outside their Coconut Grove bungalow, the Miami dusk painting the sky in bruised purples. Amoy's text burned in his mind. I'm sorry. I love you. We'll talk tonight. Her words felt like a plea, but for what? Forgiveness? Time? He'd followed her to Jackson Memorial Hospital, seen her with Ronaldo, her supposed brother, frail and tethered to an IV. She'd promised answers tonight, but Delroy's gut screamed she was still hiding something. 15 days of marriage, and his wife was slipping through his fingers like sand. What truth was she guarding so fiercely? Inside, the house was too quiet. Amoy wasn't back yet. The clock read 8:15 p.m., her promised return time long past. Delroy poured another shot of rum, the burn steadying his shaking hands. He replayed the hospital scene, Amoy's ashen face, Ronaldo's weak nod, the nurse's cryptic mention of donor prep. If Amoy was donating a kidney, why lie about it? And why was Ronaldo, a brother she claimed to have lost touch with, suddenly central to her life? Delroy's eyes fell on her laptop, still open on the dining table. He hesitated, then typed Ronaldo, Clark, into the search bar. Nothing. No social media, no records, just a ghost. Who was this man? The front door creaked open at 8:47. Amoy stepped in, her yellow scarf loose around her neck, her dreadlocks damp from the evening humidity. She froze when she saw Delroy at the table, her laptop glowing in front of him. You're still up, she said, her voice brittle. Delroy leaned back, his stare hard. You said 7. Where you been, Amoy? She set her bag down, avoiding his eyes. The client meeting ran late, I texted you. Delroy's jaw clenched. Don't lie, I followed you. Jackson Memorial. Ronaldo. What's going on? Would she finally crack? Amoy's shoulders slumped, but she didn't flinch. I told you, he's my brother. He's sick, Delroy. Kidney failure. I'm trying to help him. Her eyes glistened, but Delroy caught the tremor in her voice. Help him how? You a donor? Why hide it? I'm your husband. Amoy's lips parted, then closed. She crossed her arms, her robe tightening around her slim frame. It's complicated. I didn't want you worrying. Delroy stood, his voice rising. Complicated? You're sneaking around, whispering on phones, lying about trips. I deserve the truth. Her phone buzzed on the counter. She lunged for it, but Delroy was faster, snatching it. The screen showed a missed call. R. Clark. What was Ronaldo planning with her? Give it back, Amoy whispered, her voice sharp. Delroy held the phone out of reach. Not till you talk. Why's Ronaldo calling at night? Why's he saying it's set? Amoy's face drained of color. You listen to my calls? Delroy shook his head. Heard you last night. Ronaldo, it's set. Tomorrow. What's set, Amoy? She backed toward the stairs, her hands trembling. You don't understand. It's not what you think. Delroy stepped closer, his voice low. Then make me understand. Now. For a moment he thought she'd run. Instead, she sank into a chair, burying her face in her hands. I can't lose you, Delroy, she whispered. Lose him? What secret was tearing her apart? The room felt smaller, the air thick with unspoken truths. Delroy sat across from her, his heart pounding. Start talking. Amoy's eyes met his, raw with fear. Ronaldo's dying. He needs a kidney and I'm a match. I didn't tell you 'cause It's risky. I was scared you'd stop me. Delroy frowned. Stop you? I'd support you. Why lie? Amoy's gaze dropped. There's more. Things about my past. I'm not ready to share. Her voice broke and Delroy's chest tightened. 15 days ago, she'd vowed no secrets. Now her past was a locked door. What was she protecting? Before he could press, a knock at the door startled them. Cedella Morrison, their neighbor, stood on the porch, her braided hair catching the streetlight. Everything okay, Delroy? Saw your lights on late. Her eyes flicked to Amoy, who forced a smile. We're fine, Cedella. Just talking. Cedella's brow furrowed, but she nodded. All right, you know where I'm at if you need me. As she left, Delroy caught Amoy's relief, like she'd dodged a bullet. He turned to her. Even Cedella's noticing you're off. What's got you so jumpy? Amoy stood, her robe slipping off one shoulder. I'm going to bed. We'll talk tomorrow. Tomorrow? Was she stalling again? Delroy didn't sleep. He sat in the living room, Amoy's phone still in his hand. Her passcode, their wedding date, unlocked it. He scrolled through texts from Ronaldo. Surgery's tomorrow. Dr. Ellis says it's now or never. You sure you want to do this? Amoy? He'll find out. Delroy's blood ran cold. Find out what? That she was a donor? Or something deeper? He opened her email, finding a hospital confirmation for Amoy Clark, donor procedure, Jackson Memorial. But another email caught his eye. A medical record from years ago mentioning hormone therapy. His hands shook. Hormone therapy? For what? At dawn, Delroy drove to the station, his mind a storm. Baz was there, sipping coffee. You look rough, Sarge. What's good? Delroy hesitated, then spilled it. Amoy's lies, the hospital, Ronaldo, the hormone email. Baz whistled. Sounds heavy, man. You think she's hiding something medical, like serious? Delroy's throat tightened. I don't know. She says it's just a kidney thing, but... Baz leaned in. You want me to pull some strings? Got a buddy at Jackson who can check records. Delroy nodded, guilt gnawing at him. Was he betraying her trust or saving their marriage? By noon, Baz called. My guy found something. Amoy's not listed as a donor. Ronaldo is, but his donors. Anonymous, and there's a file on Amoy from OR5. Gender dysphoria diagnosis. You know what that means? Delroy's heart stopped. Gender dysphoria. He'd heard the term. Transgender patients. People born in bodies that didn't match their identity. His mind raced to Amoy's grace, her guarded past, her refusal to be intimate. Was Amoy transgender? He hung up, his hands clenching the steering wheel. He needed to see her now. Delroy sped home, finding Amoy packing a suitcase. Where are you going? He demanded. She jumped, her eyes wide. Fort Lauderdale, I told you the client. Stop lying, Delroy shouted, his voice echoing. I know about Ronaldo's surgery. You're not a donor, and I saw the email. Hormone therapy, Amoy. What's the truth? Her face crumpled, tears spilling. Delroy, please, I was going to tell you. His voice softened, but his eyes were hard. Tell me what? That you're not who I married? Had he married a stranger? Amoy sank onto the couch, her hands twisting. I'm still me. I love you. But I was born different. I transitioned years ago before we met. Ronaldo's my twin. We were both born boys. Delroy's world tilted. His wife, the woman he'd danced with under the stars, was transgender. 15 days and his reality was shattered. Why didn't you tell me? He whispered, his voice raw. Amoy's eyes pleaded. I was scared. I thought you'd leave. Delroy backed away, his hand brushing the holster on his belt. You lied to me. My whole life's a lie. Could he ever trust her again? The room spun, Amoy's sobs filling the silence. Delroy's fingers grazed his service pistol, a reflex from years on the force. Delroy, don't, Amoy whispered, her eyes on the gun. He froze, his hand trembling. I wouldn't. but the weight of betrayal choked him. Outside, kids laughed, setting off firecrackers in the street. The sharp pop split the air and Delroy's instincts kicked in, his grip tightening on the holster. Amoy's eyes widened in terror. "Delroy, please!" Would one more secret push him over the edge? The firecracker's sharp crack echoed through the Coconut Grove bungalow, a gunshot in the twilight. Delroy Thompson's hand froze on his service pistol, his eyes locked on Amoy's terrified face. Her sobs filled the living room, her yellow robe stained with tears. "Delroy, please," she gasped, backing against the couch. 15 days after their wedding, he'd learned she was transgender, a secret that shattered his world. His fingers trembled, the gun heavy in his grip. Rage and love warred inside him. But the firecracker's pop had snapped something primal. Would he pull the trigger? Delroy's breath hitched, his cop instinct screaming to stand down. "I'm not going to hurt you," he rasped, but his hand wouldn't lower. Amoy's eyes, wide with fear, searched his. "I love you, Delroy. I'm still me." Her voice was a lifeline, pulling him back from the edge. But the betrayal, her hidden past, her life as a boy named Andre, twin to Ronaldo, burned like acid. "You lied," he whispered, voice breaking. 15 days and I don't know you." Amoy took a shaky step forward, hands raised. "You know my heart. That's real. Could love survive a lie this deep?" Another firecracker popped outside, kids laughing in the Miami dusk. Delroy flinched, his finger grazing the trigger. Time slowed. The room spun, Amoy's face blurred, her dreadlocks framing her plea. The gun roared, a deafening blast. Amoy staggered, a red stain blooming across her chest. Her knees buckled and she collapsed, her eyes wide with shock. "No!" Delroy screamed, the pistol clattering to the floor. He dropped beside her, pressing his hands to the wound, blood hot against his palms. "Amoy, hold on." Her lips moved, a faint sorry slipping out before her eyes dimmed. Had he just killed the woman he loved? Delroy fumbled for his phone, dialing 911 with blood-slick fingers. "My wife, she's shot. Hurry." His voice cracked, the operator's calm questions a distant hum. He cradled Amoy, her body limp, her warmth fading. The living room, once their sanctuary, was now a crime scene, their wedding photo on the mantel mocking him. Sirens wailed closer, red and blue lights flashing through the blinds. Delroy didn't move, even as paramedics stormed in, prying him away. "She's gone," one said, voice flat. Delroy's world collapsed, his heart a hollow shell. How had 15 days ended in death? Police cuffed Delroy, his own colleagues, their faces grim. Barrington Baz Miller, his deputy, stood by the door, eyes wide with disbelief. "Delroy, what happened, man?" Delroy's voice was lifeless. "It was an accident, I didn't mean to." Baz shook his head, guiding him to the squad car. At the station, the interrogation room was cold, the fluorescent buzz deafening. Latoria Grant, a homicide detective with a no-nonsense edge, sat across from him, her braids pulled tight. "Sergeant Thompson, you shot your wife. Tell me why." Delroy stared at his hands, still stained with Amoy's blood. "She was transgender," he said, voice hollow. "I found out today. I lost it." Was that the truth or an excuse? Latoria's pen scratched the notepad. "Lost it how? You drew your service weapon in your home. Why?" Delroy's eyes burned, tears spilling. "She lied. 15 days and she hid who she was. I was angry, confused. The firecracker went off and He choked, unable to finish. Latoria's gaze softened, but her voice stayed firm. "You're saying it was an accident?" Delroy nodded, his shoulders sagging. "I loved her. I didn't want to hurt her." But the weight of his badge, his training, crushed him. A cop didn't fire by mistake. Or did he? The news spread through Miami's Jamaican community like wildfire. Cedella Morrison, their neighbor, stood outside the bungalow clutching a rosary. "Amoy was a light," she told reporters, voice trembling. "Delroy, he was a good man. How did this happen?" Whispers grew. Some called Amoy a deceiver, others condemned Delroy's violence. At Jackson Memorial, Ronaldo Clark lay in his hospital bed, his new kidney a bitter gift. A nurse had told him Amoy was dead, shot by her husband. Ronaldo's sobs echoed down the hall, his frail hands clutching white roses, Amoy's favorite. Had his illness cost his sister her life? Delroy sat in a county jail cell, the gray walls closing in. His trial loomed, manslaughter the likely charge, but the label didn't matter. He'd killed Amoy, the woman who'd made him laugh, who'd dreamed of Negro sunsets with him. He traced the edges of their wedding photo, the only item he'd been allowed to keep. Amoy's smile, radiant in her white dress, haunted him. 15 days ago, he'd vowed to protect her. Now her blood was on his hands. He closed his eyes, replaying her final sorry. Why hadn't he listened? Latoria visited him on the third day, her file folder thick with reports. "Mr. Thompson, I need your full statement," she said, sitting across from him. Delroy's voice was steady, now raw with remorse. "I found out she was transgender, born Andre, twin to Ronaldo. She transitioned years ago before we met. I felt betrayed, like my life was a lie. I drew my gun to, I don't know, scare her maybe. Then the firecracker." He stopped, tears falling. "I didn't mean to shoot. I loved her." Latoria wrote, her face unreadable. "Did she threaten you?" Delroy shook his head. She was just trying to explain. Had his anger been fear all along? The detective leaned back, her voice softer. "Your testimony matches the evidence. No prior violence, no intent. The prosecutors leaning toward manslaughter, but you're looking at years, Delroy, you understand that?" He nodded, his eyes empty. "I deserve it. She's gone, and I'm here. That's my prison." Latoria closed her folder. "One, last question. If you could go back knowing what you know now, what would you do?" Delroy's gaze drifted to the photo. "I'd hold her. Ask her who she was, really. And I'd never touch that gun." Could love have saved them? Outside, Miami moved on. The bungalow stood empty, its mango trees heavy with fruit no one picked. Sedella planted white roses by the porch, a quiet tribute. Ronaldo left town after his discharge, carrying Amoy's memory and the weight of her sacrifice. At her grave, he whispered, "You were always my sister," his roses wilting in the heat. The community grappled with the tragedy. Some judged Amoy's silence, others Delroy's rage, but most mourned 2 lives undone by a single moment. Delroy's trial came swiftly. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter, his voice breaking as he faced the courtroom. "I loved Amoy," he said, eyes on her photo. "I failed her, I'm sorry." The judge sentenced him to 7 years, a nod to his clean record and remorse. In his cell, Delroy clung to her image, her smile a reminder of what was real. She'd been Amoy, not Andre, every moment they'd shared. He'd lost her, not to a lie, but to his own fear. Would he ever forgive himself? The story faded from headlines, but it lingered in Miami's heart. It wasn't just a crime, it was a mirror, reflecting the fragility of love, the cost of secrets, and the pain of truths. Too late to heal. Delroy sat in his cell, the photo worn at the edges, and whispered her name. Amoy, his wife, his truth, forever gone. Well, have you ever heard of a case like this? Comment your thoughts. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.